I know you're like, Scott, what is that? Well, I'll show you. Check this puppy out. Okay? Yes, this is a new amplifier. Look at this. One finger. Da, 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 da. Okay. This is from a company called 4Force. Check it out. On the back, all you have are 2 ports. So you get extended low end. You put that dude up against a wall. It makes a big difference in the bottom end. It's a beautiful thing. Then you get to plug it in. That's all that's back there. Anyway, how did I come across this thing? Well, oddly enough, or not oddly enough, a gentleman from the company contacted me here on YouTube. Always dug what I did and love how I rip things apart and how I tell things the way they are. If I like them, if I don't. And I am brutally honest to a fault. So they actually wanted to throw their product into the lion's den and see what I thought of it. Look at this thing. Okay, it's made out of it's hard plastic, which I already love. It's solid state, which I already love. But it is another one of those 5-watt amps, which everybody is using, but it wants to be a tube amp, like they all want to be. Okay, yes, of course tube amps have their place, but everybody has been trying to do the whole tube emulation thing for many, many years without actually putting a real tube in the amp. And let me just say, these guys actually did it. As far as I am concerned, I'll let you be the judge. Again, just to show you how honest they are, right here is from Jason over at 4Force, over next door in California. I could put it right here. You guys can stop at any time you want to see and read that. But it just says, Scott, hope you enjoy the amp. Have a great holiday. If you don't dig the sound, you certainly will have one cool looking doorstop. So, regards, Jason. Okay, now this amp actually won Best in Show at the NAMM show. Okay, it's the EM-1. Okay, so what you have here is such a groovy little amp. The first thing I noticed about it that I liked, besides the weight being nothing, and I love the handle, number one, let's just go through the aesthetics of it. Looks cool, huh? Okay. What I love about it is the first thing I saw was the shape of it. And I love amplifiers, which there are not enough of, which can actually sit on the ground in front of you and face back at you like a monitor wedge. So you're not messing with the crowd. It's mic'd up properly like it should be, or it's in your house, one or the other. Okay, so, but if I'm going to gig with this amp, which I actually will, I will show you exactly how in a little bit. If you're going to use it in your house, that's why I'm doing it in the house part of my house instead of in the dungeon in there where all the other stuff is kept. It's shaped proper. Okay, cool metal grill on it. You can get it in black on black, or the black with the chrome like you see here, or the very smart thing that these folks did, whether they realize it or not, I'm sure they do, because they've probably sold so many, to people who play in churches. Yeah, worship groups. They have them in white. Okay, very few companies make things in white out of respect for the worship or praise groups out there. So you can actually have this amp anywhere and it will not be unsightly for a church setting if you order it in the white. Okay, so, and you put the back of it towards the crowd and it just looks like a white box, and it's a beautiful thing. Okay, what are the controls? Right here. Okay, you've got your typical bass, mids, and treble, gain and volume. On and off switch, then a speaker output jack. Okay, the speaker output jack, when you plug an external speaker or speaker cabinet into it, it does disable the internal speaker, which is a smart thing. Most amps don't do it. They keep the speaker going. This is a beautiful thing, because why would you want this speaker going and interfering with your impedance of your entire setup when you want to run like a 412 cabinet with it, it just gets huge sounding. I put an actual meter on here, and via the speaker output jack, the amp has a 16 ohm 10-inch speaker in it, which runs it at, it is actually 5 watts. I checked it, went out to 16 ohms, and it was 5 watts. I went to an 8 ohm load, it went to 8.5 watts. I went to a 4 ohm load, and it went up to 12 watts. Okay, so what is so cool about this? Like I said, it actually sounds like a tube amp. Okay, but without all the things that I personally, and which the world regularly yells at me for, which I personally hate about tube amps. And that is just the fact of the lack of ruggedness, how often those things are on the shelf all the time, what a tube amp costs you to maintain. You'll get your pro people who play out all the time. Sure, they can afford it, but who wants to do it all the time? And that's replacing tubes, power tubes. A lot of your pros will replace those every 5 or 6 shows, and that's not cheap. You know, you're like, that's crazy, but that's the real touring world. Now, 4-Force, they do, of course, they offer a 50-watt amplifier and so forth, you know, other things, but this is, you know, they're not going to send me no big, huge thing for free and say, here, Merry Christmas, but something like this, amazing. And I am going to use it, so no doorstop. I was curious about it, but I figured I wouldn't like it, just like I figure I won't like most things, especially something like this, but it proved me, it proved me, it hooked me. So I'm just going to plug the thing in by the cord on the back. I'm going to grab a few different guitars, no editing, so yeah, it's going to be somewhat long, but so be it. This is a review, I'm not giving a concert here, okay? So that's what this is about. They have great 1.5-minute videos on their website. I'll put a link below to the nice commercial video, and you can watch the other guy play and so forth, do the demos and stuff. But I'm going to take this thing through its paces and through a few guitars, and I'm going to rattle like I do. Okay, so I'm going to take the amp, flip her on. You get a pretty blue light right here on the top too. I'll actually put everything down here for the rest of the time on the amplifier. So there she is. It's got, okay, if you can see it or not, right there you go. You got a blue LED. Now, again, if you're just going to use this in your bedroom, what a beautiful thing, because, again, the ports on the back actually accentuate the bass. So you get actually more than what is being delivered through the speaker. So some people on little amps, they just leave the back end open and everything escapes through there, and it does not sound well unless it's fully enclosed. And then if it's fully enclosed, you're only getting this, but a little bit of cabinet rumble. But seeing that they actually double ported this thing back, it's just like on any audio that has subs in it. There are ports in there, and that lets the bass escape. And it hits the wall, and it comes out, and it fills the room with more bottom end than an amp this size is physically able to deliver. So I'm going to plug the guitar into the one and only input, which is all it needs. If you want more, put a splitter on it, but you don't need it. I'm going to go through 3 different guitars here. Why? Because not everybody owns the same thing, and I'm going to try to cover a different type of pickups, because of course, tube amps, which is what we're going to consider this, you're not going to consider it as being such until I play it. It's a very intimate relationship for people who like tube amps, as far as their knobs on their guitars, their volume controls and their tone controls, which I'm usually not into. I'm all about foot pedals and doing it that way, and modeling things and so forth. So, is this modeling? No, it's not modeling anything. It's just a tube emulation. And let me see if I can, since I'm just right here, where else would I be? Okay, it's actually Class A wired also for those people who know your stuff. Yes, Class A is the way to go. Where is what I'm looking for? Okay, they call it their patent pending tube illusion circuit. Okay, which is their version of tube emulation. So tube illusion is what they call it. Again, it won Best in Show at the NAMM show for a very good reason. I come to find out. Why didn't I know about them before? Because I never leave here. I never get to a music store. I don't know what's out there until people say, hey, what do you think about that? And these people just wrote me and said, I'm sending you an amp. What do you think about that? I said, well, we'll see. So we shall see. Okay, so here I'm just using a Paul Reed Smith USA 305, so basically a Strat. Okay, I've got the bass on 10, mids on 10, treble on about 7, gain on about 8, and the volume wide open. Okay, so this way, for everybody, and I've got my tone down to about 3 on my guitar, and of course, volume is off. Just going to start bringing it up. Now it sounds beautiful. It has no reverb on the amp. If you want that stuff, you can throw pedals on it. And I'm going to do that too in a second. But I just want you to hear that it is up there in volume. But I have most of it reserved on the guitar the way a tube amp player would play it. But I'm also a country guy and a southern rock guy, so I will take it through its paces. Now it is very articulate sounding. You don't get these kind of highs that I'm hearing here and this type of cleanliness from solid state amps. You get them through tube amps. Through the solid state stuff you get good enough and then it lasts forever. You know, you don't have to keep changing tubes and keep putting it at the workbench. So you have something here that is going to last forever. It weighs about the same as this guitar. It weighs 12 pounds and there's nothing to be knocked off of it. This bar, heavy duty steel bar here at the top, it is helping to cover up these knobs. So you actually, if you have a kid carrying this thing around, they can drop this thing and it's not going to freak you out like dropping, you know, your boutique tube amp or whatever. And it's probably not going to break on you. I mean, that's a steel front. And so the knobs are helped to be protected via this bar. But any little kid can help you take this to your gig or to grandma's house we go or to church or to whatever you're doing, or it can just sit in the corner and just be your main amp all the time and you never have to change tubes. Okay, so here it is again, nice and clean. 4 position. Now let's go to the 2. Okay, now I'm going to take it up into the territory that the tube players are looking for. Yes, I eventually get there. I'm going with the guitar up to about 7. Let's take it to the 2 position. Okay, so now it's starting to pick up that attack of what I do. Okay, this here's where you start becoming a part of the amplifier, and the amplifier and the guitar become as one. Okay, so very dynamically responsive. Okay, check this out. I'm not going to change anything. Let me here, put the guitar up here a little bit. I'll put it right about 8. So everything you want about a tube amp is there. When you dig in, it digs in. But if you want to sit there and play soft and pretty, and then get those extra little hints of overdrive. Okay, so you got that. Me and my picks. Okay, I'm going to the neck pickup, the bluesy sound. Okay, again. Okay, but I'm not changing anything, just the way I play. Bring up the high end on my guitar. Bring it way up. I mean, it does like a tube amp. It's very responsive to everything you do, every knob you touch. I can bring up some more gain on the amp. Bring it to the 2 position. So very, very expressive. Okay, so there you go with a nice clean guitar. I'm just going to pull the cable on this guitar, just throw a few other ones at you, let you hear it with different type of pickups. Then just go on the effects unit and call it a day. But as you can already see, it does what it's supposed to do. So I'm going to bring out a Ibanez PS10, one of Paul Stanley limited series guitars. It has very high output pickups in it. The Paul Reed Smith was like a Strat where you have low output pickups. That's what I generally play. Single coil, something that's not going to drive the amp very much because I'm a clean player usually, but I'm going to demonstrate everything this amp does or can do. It's got volumes and tones. So this guitar has 2 tones, 2 volumes, 1 for each pickup, then a master tone in the back. So when you see me diddling and fiddling and okay, gonna bring my tone down a little bit. Much hotter pickups. I'm gonna go to the bridge pickup. It's on about 3. Let's put the other one on about the same. Now in the middle. Okay, and if I play quieter. Okay, I want you to hear that. That is just beautiful. Again, the articulation, which generally a glass glowing tube can only give you. Tone on my guitar. It's just so cool. Okay, so that's stuff you don't hear from these little box solid state amps that are out there. Neck position, still with the volumes rolled down to 3. Much hotter pickups, I'm getting some gain. Nothing wrong with gain. You can dial it in or dial it out. I haven't changed anything again on the amp. I'm back to where I was at the beginning. Okay, so again, I'm on the bridge pickup. Okay. Both of them. Okay, so you get your old style 70s sounds. Again, neck pickup. Everything is still set very low on 3 on the guitar. I'm going to go up to about 8 on everything. Okay, that's the bridge pickup on 8. Middle on 8. Digging in, but going back to playing soft. I think I shook the camera. Okay, so I'm going to show you something cool. Let's just dime everything on the guitar, volume-wise. I'm going to turn the gain. I'm going to turn, gain wide open and everything. Gain and volume both wide open. I'm shutting my tone knob off though. And that pickup. How cool. Add some cleanness back to it. Okay, I'm going to bring the gain back down to about 8. Okay, so you do have very high output humbuckers here. Okay, and that's with the gain back on 8 again. So, very cool. And let's grab another guitar. Okay, you're like, Scott, we don't have $2,000 and $3,000 guitars. Well, the only reason they're $2,000 and $3,000 is because that's what they charge for them. There's nothing special about those guitars, trust me. So now that's why I'm going to break out. That's right, something that everybody can have. Yep, something with some P90s, a bigger guitar, your off-brands, whatever. Toss it through here. I have yet to do it. That's the first time I've heard the PS10 through there. This will be the first time I've heard this. The only guitar I've had plugged into it until now was the PRS. Okay, so I'm going to just get myself ready and turn everything off on the guitar. Now this one has a volume and a tone for each P90 pickup. That's a big old hollow body. So let's see what we got. I'm just going to start treble pickup or the bridge pickup. And we're at 4 in 4, volume and tone. Now I'm going to put the whole guitar on, everything on 4. Both volumes, both tones. Okay, now so in the middle, both pickups, everything at 4. Neck. But check it out, man. We're getting ready to get some blues stuff going. Let's go to the middle. Bring everything up to about 7. On the volumes, I'll put the tones at 6. Okay, on both of them. check out the velocity sensitive. I mean, how cool. Groovy. So what can you say? I mean, P90s, they're not, there's what they're famous for. Good old hollow bodies with the unpotted pickups. So yeah, let's dime this thing. Let's go to 10. Oh, you gotta love it. So there's, yes, you can do the whole distortion and feedback thing on here. It's plenty loud. Okay, finally, I'm just gonna, for you guys out there who just want to know about effects and stuff, let's do it. I'm gonna come out a little bit. There we go. I'm just going back to pinky. Yes, this is the color of your grandmother's bathroom. 100%. That's what it is. Okay, I'm just going to plug into a multi-effects box down here. And tell you what, these amps actually cost less than this little box I'm using down here. So let's check it out. I'm going to leave everything up here the same, except for I'm going to bring the gain down. I'm going to turn, make it so everything's nice and clean on the amplifier now, and just run this box down here. My country type of thing. Okay, again, these are just from the box, but showing you that the amp is clean enough and takes pedals like a tube amp does. Amps act differently when you throw pedals at them, whether it be through the front end or through a effects loop or whatever, but this is the pedal going directly from the guitar to the pedal and now to this. This whole time it has not even been connected. I've just been running one guitar chord into the amp, the way that most people would want to hear it, totally unprocessed. Okay, here is my regular clean sound that I normally enjoy. Because I do a lot of this stuff. Okay, now the people that know me out there know that there it's able to do both, but so it handles the clean stuff great, but then it does exactly what it claims to do for once. Everybody else keeps failing so miserably at this. I can't wait to actually try out their 50 watt one. Here's just a distortion. I could combine that with the amp's distortion just by the gain, you know. You're like, yeah, that's what I was looking for. But yeah, that's what anybody does. You know, if you have everybody in the world that uses tube amps, they still get little boxes and put them on there, and you can go gain crazy, man. Throw a distortion pedal on with this, and you are sonically out there, man. Check this. I'm going to the neck pickup. So here's another one of my famous sounds that I have put into this little pedal. You guys out there that know me already know what this is going to be. Because to it, some amp gain. So there you go. What can I say about this? I really love this amp, and I'm going to use it. It is not a doorstop. So again, thank you, Sir Jason. Again, at 4-force amplifiers, the EM-1 right here. Again, award-winning for best in show, no doubt. And again, I will put a link right at the bottom of here for their pretty little commercial video, and you can check out the 1-minute version instead of this 35-minute version. But this is what I do, kids. I put them through their paces, and I'm looking for something to yell at about on this. I would say, yeah, maybe I should throw it, show it to you through a 412 cabinet, or I should show it. It's anybody that has half a brain already knows what this is going to sound like. I've done it already. Plugged it into my 412s. I've got like 8 of them out in the garage. They get huge, but that's up to you. Whatever you want to do with it. But this amp is the one that's going to do it for you. It actually does it for me. Because I don't like tube amps, so I don't have one. Well, I've got that one nasty one in the music room that I love to always gripe about, but now I can actually, let me kill this, pull the power, I can actually take this thing anywhere with me, anytime, and just toss it around. I mean, look, here's the bottom. This will show you what it's made out of. Okay, so it's that stuff. Okay, so you're not going to have Tolex peeling off like you do on all your amplifiers made by anybody, because it's not that way. It's meant to be a minimalistic amp, but kick your butt. And it does. It works. You got these little squishy foam feeling things behind the grill, which probably actually helps with the sound of the sterility of most solid state amplifiers, because they generally have that one little high-endy thing that is really drives you nuts. It's really horrible sounding when you go to the overdrive or distortion. But this here is, again, like tube saturation. You get the sag of a tube amp in there. You get all the dynamics of your playing, of your guitar controls, your volume and tone pots, for those of you who use them. Okay, again, I'm not a fan of all that, but of course I get it, because back when I was young there was no such thing as solid state amps. So I had to use all the big huge stacks too, and all the little famous ones, and brings back some memories, because it flippin' works. But it works better because the advantages are everything that I pointed out. Like I said, I tried to find something bad about this. If I could say something bad about it, what could I come up with? That I just didn't know about it before, I guess. Because I will take this amp to gigs, because I have been going direct at most of my gigs to just a little pedal like that, or a little processor, and going direct. But it always sounds better if you can just put a little 57 or whatever microphone in front of there and just go to town. Okay, because just something about micing up a speaker that can't be quite emulated yet. And again, about this covering here, covering over the speaker, it's thick enough that it tames that harshness of most solid state amps. So I have a good feeling that because of the thickness of this stuff behind the front plate, that is quieting down some of that usual bumblebee noise that you get out of solid state amps. That's just that high-endy distortion from those EM-1 amplifiers that like to make little tiny stacks and stuff. They sound horrible. This don't. And again, you heard it. I didn't process it in any way. I didn't put a mic on it to do anything. I just ran it in the house like most of you would. And it's got plenty enough power for the gigs I'm going to do. It's got plenty enough power for your church gigs or whatever. If you have to set it up on something, that's a beautiful thing, because then it's right in your ear. Then it's loud enough for anything. And again, if it's just on the ground and it's facing in front of you, it's going to be fine anyway. And if it's not, it's got a microphone on it, don't it? And you bring it up to the monitors. It's what it's there for. So you always start with a great sound, which it has. If you have a great sound in your hand, in your guitar, and this actually brings it out, and it's neat. I wanted to hate it, but I can't. And it's not because it's free. I would throw it in the trash like many things before. And he actually told me on another previous conversation, said if you don't like it, throw it in the trash. You know, whatever. But give it a try. So I gave it a try. I'll give it 2.5 thumbs up. I can't show you my other thumb. It's indisposed. So thanks to everybody at 4Force. And don't forget to clink the link at the bottom of the page. It will have a direct line to the website and to the other video that's only 1 minute and 30 some seconds long, so you don't have to sit through all this. But I believe in doing a full and thorough butt kicking on something and see if it can take it. And it took it. And it smiled afterwards. Okay, once again, Scott Grove doing my review of the 4Force EM-1 amplifier, tube emulated. Again, not a modeling amp. It's just whatever kind of magic that Frosty the Snowman had under his hat. They threw it in there and it worked. So there must have been a little extra magic left because that thing's fabulous. Fabulous. I'm out of here. Thanks again, guys, for the amp, and I'm just gonna sit there and thoroughly enjoy this thing. And can't put a price on that. Even free isn't free. It's like I just got owned, is what the kids would say. A little solid state amp actually sounded like a real tube amp, and I will honestly hand to whoever use this, and I will record with it way before I will turn on a real tube amp in my studio in there. So thanks again for everything, and that's going to become a great usable tool for me. And thanks you all for watching all this, and you guys have a lovely day. All right, take care.